Hey, thanks for joining in. I've got something I wanted to get off my chest that hopefully can help you with if you're going through like just something difficult when it comes to self-image, I guess. I think for some people that can mean like you're dealing with maybe something like traumatic or something like just like a hardship or whatever, like something that it wasn't your fault. Like I'm not saying that like it's just gonna be like a video about, you get to now assign blame to everything else in terms of your personal development besides, focusing on yourself, on you fixing yourself. But I think for other people, and this is me also included, I think it just sometimes like you find out something that's like you don't like about yourself, and maybe it's like very so extreme that you want to fix this thing about yourself. It takes a concentrated acceptance is how I want to word it. When you learn something about yourself, at least this is my recommendation, that you're not a fan of, that you want to fix, that you want to better, the worst thing you can do absolutely is ignore it for sure. Because I think you can have this type of confidence. It's very loud. It's very like, rah, rah, rah. And probably even like start to like see progress in your life in certain things, right? Like you start to notice that like, maybe you're making more money automatically or, maybe you find yourself feeling lighter and the people around you like, also start like having that same type of energy. But eventually, because you haven't like fixed that thing that you don't like about yourself, it tends to be something that's very like infectious, if that makes sense. Like when you don't feel like 100% yourself, when you feel off, when you feel like any sort of like negative vibe emotion, like you feel like guilty, ashamed, like regretful. And again, this could come from either like something that happened in the past to you or just something you don't like about yourself. But regardless, when you don't feel 100%, there's no hiding it from the world. That's why I think the worst thing you can do is ignore it. You can think that like focusing elsewhere and never addressing it is going to get you ahead. And it can, I think, to a certain extent. But eventually, you'll encounter some type of situation that that part of you is not equipped to handle. Like you refuse to kill it off from you. And so it's just not equipped to handle it. And eventually, like it'll either like that'll be the thing that like stops your progress dead in your tracks, or it'll just like accumulate, like I guess in your head, and it'll just kind of like I guess like rot, like whatever happened, whatever triggered it, or whatever, it'll just rot in your mind, and then suddenly weeks have gone by, and you like slowly have started to like become a worse version of yourself, almost I would say without realizing it, but really it's just kind of like it's just almost aggressively ignoring it. Like you just try to focus on the good stuff, the fun stuff, but never the things that are difficult. But remember that the world can tell. I think I always make the mistake too. It's always like as long as I counteract it with more good, more and more good, I'll like be able to just like work past it, and that's never been the case. Like it shows on my face, how I behave. Even just I think not even I think, like just the sheer energy, I have in the room, like the type of person who I want to be, the person that I see myself as, should have like just this magnetic, very like calm, almost like if you're very cold and you've got like a nice like warm blanket, it's like a reliable positive force. I'm hoping that makes sense, but that's who I see myself as. And so even just being in a room where I feel like 50% of my best version or even 90% of my best version, like people can tell, and it starts to like seep into like other areas, like not only in yourself, but I think in like the people that interact with you. I've seen it, I think, like happen even to me, like out in public and stuff. Like you can kind of tell who has a lot of weight on their shoulders. Like if you stare out into like a crowd and stuff, like who's going through it, it tends to get um, easier to tell with experience. And it's funny. It's like the one thing that I'll like purposely not like address for myself. Like I've gotten better at that, but not for any of the stuff that I'm trying to fix. The warning that I can give you is that well, first of all, these moments of like when you're making progress and you decide to regress, they always come as a result of like it's right when it's about to like lock in, if that makes sense. Like right is about like you're gonna get a big unlock or a big step forward or like something very important is right around the time you get presented these tests. And it's always specifically like catered towards what I like struggle with or what I have always dealt with. And so the way I've seen it infect others is that it always goes like in a repeated motion, you know. And so what happens is that it's not so much that like, you know, I'm like verbally abusive or like mean or no, it's more so like I always continue to like I guess just assume that what I'm doing is going to be the best way towards progress, which always also conveniently includes doing the difficult things, doing the stuff that I'm supposed to be doing, the stuff that I'm supposed to be working on, but I'm ignoring because I firmly believe that this is going to be the thing that like gets me there the fastest. The thing that's like what I'm working on right now is going to be the big unlock. Like I'll give you an example. You know, like I was doing YouTube videos and stuff like that on a separate channel, and you know, I don't know anything about YouTube. Like I'm really terrible at it. Like I think I'm a pretty decent storyteller, and I think I'm like a pretty skilled like editor. But aside from that, not my strength. And so trying to like figure that out, you know, like the best move really there would be just to like go to someone who does. And at some point, I believed in what I was doing so hard, and was seeing the benefits, like the good stuff, you know, like I felt like myself like feeling lighter. All of my relationships were improving. I was making like great, well, not great money, I would say, but it was just coming very easily, you know, like, and by the way, I say great money in the sense of like I should be making more always. I should strive for that. But my point being is that everything was easy, I guess. Like not literally easy, but just it felt easy. Like it felt like it was coming to me. I wasn't chasing anything. I was attracting it. I think especially for anything creative, it becomes to a point where it's just like, okay, well, like how can I get there even faster? Like I'm tired of the obedience to like a concentrated effort, like you know, taking progress consistently, where it's like for sure progress is happening. It's like no, like how can I bypass all that and you know get there faster and get there like now this is gonna fix all my problems. You know, like everything else is like it's cool. Like it can go to the wayside for now. You know, while I do the like just pour all of my effort into this. Like I start to let go of like okay, like now I don't look as sharp as I should be looking. Okay, now I'm not communicating with my loved ones like I should be doing. Oh, okay, now like you're gonna make less money, or like it'll happen after this tantrum. Like you'll make less money afterwards because it's like I'm not working on everything. Like I'm not working on making progress on everything because I believe this one thing will work. You know, it's like it's gonna work. Like I looked up another YouTuber who's like really ahead, and like he said to do this, and I see the views going up, and so now I'm like obsessed with chasing something versus building like the discipline. Like I said, these challenges always happen to me like right as I think discipline is about to take place, and I'm just going to like you know like leave my ego out of it and just like lock in basically. And so inevitably that has like no like it crashes because it doesn't really have any like staying power, that type of like chasing. And suddenly every single thing that I've been like putting to the side, everything I've been neglecting immediately like just comes like full like to confront me all at once basically. And there's no like denying responsibility in that situation. But what happens is that like it starts to like crumble your image of yourself more and more every time. And it's even reflected in your loved ones who start to tolerate you, like tolerate having you around, loving having you there, you know, versus like being proud of you, versus like wanting to help you out. And in even my case, because it's so like focused on not communicating, like it's so focused on like this is how it's going to work and I don't want anyone else to tell me, you know, like the tolerating even becomes like well now we're just not even going to like go out of our way to help you out. Like it's going to be up to you, and like now it's your responsibility, because to be on the other end of that is exhausting. It's certainly a type of abuse for sure. Your image of yourself, because again people can tell like what you're feeling on the inside, like it reflects outwards in terms of like appearance, in terms of energy. When this happens, it's there's no quick fix, you know, like you can make progress fast for sure, but there's no like quick fix in the sense of like you're gonna like feel this full weight of like your error, of your mistake. The only thing you can do is to just really like sit down and first of all pick one like direction, like commit to like building discipline in the sense of like choose one way basically. Why try to wear so many hats and scatter your energy? Because it's like imagine like if you were incredibly rich but then like you were really terrible at everything else. It's like, okay, like congrats, you're wealthy, but like everyone hates you and you're out of shape and you're like unhappy. So pick one thing. I would recommend personally to sticking to like the discipline of it. Again, right when it gets hard is when it's going to get frustrating, boring, difficult, whatever. Like it's going to make you want to not continue, but you're only disappoint yourself really at the end of the day. And that's kind of the energy you start projecting out. And again, people start tolerating you when you start putting out that energy. Really at the end of the day, it's all, you should be doing it for yourself. But I think the energy that you put out, like continuing to wind up in the same spots is what you like, I guess, give out to other people. And that's what's going on. The only way forward, I think, to like go back to being the 100% version of yourself is to just buckle down and go back to doing what you don't want to do. And in my case, it's a really big list. I mean, in the sense of like, I really sat down and like just thought about like, what am I ignoring? Like in terms of like, okay, like I haven't done this, this, and this. Sometimes it's because I haven't done it because I'm afraid, like of whatever consequences. Maybe it's financial or like left it alone for so long that it's like, okay, now it's going to be even more difficult to address. Which, by the way, if that logic is true, then it's going to get only more difficult the longer that time goes on. And some of it's difficult. I don't want to do it because it involves like uncomfortable truths, whether it's about myself or someone else. It's like, you don't want to deal with it because it's uncomfortable, but it is important and you do need that skill set as an adult. But yeah, do the things that you do not want to do. And as you do them, you make sure that you do them with gratitude. It's like, okay, cool, you're here again. Guess what? The more you avoid doing the things you don't want to do, like, and if you're gonna go ahead and do them, you decide to have like a rotten bad attitude about it. It's like, okay, like now you're really like playing with fire in a sense. Like the things that you do not want to do, like they're gonna continue to not only happen, they'll come in different like flavors and stuff like that, but like they'll get bigger and bigger and busier and busier. And without that ability to be able to do all of that with like great energy, with pure happiness, with gratitude about it, without changing your mindset on approaching that kind of stuff, you'll doom yourself because it's really that's what life is about. And I avoid that line of thinking all the time, like the stuff that I don't want to do. And when I do, it's like it what usually comes to surface first is like, that's uncomfortable, like I'm exhausted, like it's all these like low vibing feelings. Twisting that, you should start to see progress really fast. And I think that's where I'll leave this video, like if it's not happening fast, like it shouldn't take, months and months at a time. I'm telling you, like I'll probably do a different video on it, but I got a list of stuff that I'm avoiding, stuff about myself that I don't like. And just starting to tackle those with great energy is going to start to be the thing that steers you in the right direction. It'll be your North Star. But until then, you'll keep encountering the same obstacles, wind up in the same circles if you don't fix yourself. So that was it. Just wanted to talk about something that I'm going through, that I'm working on at the moment. Always in any way, I guess, to help like anyone that's like frustrated at themselves, and still dealing with like, man, like my life feels like it's in some type of loop, and it's driving me insane. And hopefully it reaches the right person out there. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video.